Hello, Randy Rain here, and this is day 4 of this quarantine virus thing. Yeah, I call it a quarantine, but it's really not a quarantine for me, at least. I can go out and do whatever I wanted to, actually, just asking to stay in, so I'm trying to stay in as much as possible. So, making these videos, and I'm doing one a week, and this is number 4. But this one has to do with robots. So, technically, this is
Randy's Robot Garage.
Now, I've already done a video on the original Tommy Atomic robot. I've also done a video on the later edition of the Tommy Atomic robot. And I have the later condition, which they call Magic Mike 2. Don't know if there was a Magic Mike 1. They all have buttons on top, and when they have batteries in them, which they don't, they play a sound. Sometimes it's a space thing, sometimes it actually talks. How it works is one of these. This is a little record player. When you push this down, there are 2 tracks spiraled around on this record player, or on the record, and it will play one of them. Then, the next time you push it, it may or may not play the next one. You might get the same one. It just depends where the needle falls on the little record. This one is restored. This one is restored. These 2 are not restored. And when I got these, they came in a lot. So there's several robots. And when I opened them up, they were missing this thing. Someone had already gutted these things. So I happen to have an extra one. But I have, of course, 2 robots that are empty. So I've been thinking, can I duplicate this thing? Because you can't find these anymore. These used to be used for all kinds of stuff. And there used to be a thing called a laugh bag. The little record had laughing on it, and so when you pushed it, this bag just laughed. They still make those, but they're digital now. They're not the little record player. How hard is it to make one of these? How hard is it to copy it? The question is not, can I copy it? Yes, I can. The question is, how easy will it be? So the first thing I want to test is to see how easy it is to copy the little record. So I am going to pull the record out of here. I am going to make a mold of it. I'm going to cast it in plastic. I'm going to put the plastic one back in here and see if it works. First, let me show you this thing in action. There's 3 wires, but these 2 are for the motor, and this one just sets off the robot. It's for controlling the robot, so ignore that one. The red goes to positive, green goes to ground. And then there's a little button up here, and this is the motor, of course. This is the adjustment. This is holding pressure down on this thing. And this is the diaphragm here. So to take the diaphragm off, you have to unscrew this thing right here. And this will lift off. It's this very thin membrane with this piece of plastic hooked here. This right here is the swing arm. This has the needle on the end of it, and it swings here, and the whole time it's rubbing on this. So it's spring loaded, so it travels this way, but it's stuck in the groove. So it travels here, it hits this switch right here, which turns it off. But then when you push this thing right here, which is this piece of replacement that I made, that little wedge pushes and lifts this thing up, which allows the pressure being pushed down here to go away, and so the spring pops it back here, and then when you let off on this thing and it lays back down, it plays again. All this blue wire does is the ground comes into here, it is connecting to here and going to the motor, and then when it pushes, it disconnects right here. But anyway, that's not what I'm worried about. That I can figure out. I don't care about that. What I care about is the little record that's right down here. Now to get to it, you have to unscrew this, and this will pop out, but the record is attached to this thing. When you pull the motor out, the belt just came undone. Yeah. So there's the little record right there. Pops into here, which it came undone. There's a little belt, the pulley down here that it snaps into. And there is no pulley on the motor. It just literally rides on the shaft. So the question is can I duplicate this record with just the material that I have? Not only can I duplicate it, is the material I have strong enough to take the beating that this little needle is going to be putting down on it? Gonna have to find out. That's the question to be answered on this video. Alright, so I have a piece of MDF here that I've taken clay and steadied it. So now I got to stick this down to it. It's like beveled here, so some of it's going to go underneath there. The easiest way to do this is to take some of my clay, smear some of that clay down, and do the same here. So I can always clean the clay off. Mash and twist. So yeah, my go-to silicone is the Mold Max 30. Almost out of this. I'm going to use the last little bit for this thing. Dump what left of the catalyst I have in here, because that's all the silicone I have left. Okay, so what I want to do first is just put a light layer and let that run. So now I'm going to put it in my vacuum chamber. Go ahead and top it off. Alright, I'm going to put that back into the vacuum chamber. So while that's curing, I'll show you what I've been playing with. So I bought some of these UV LED strips and I attached them to this board here. Then I have this concrete tub here. And then I filled it full of water and then added in, it's just peroxide. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this in here. These are the earpieces for my Roby Senior, and they were yellowed. It was the only part of the Roby Senior that was really yellowed, and it's working. This one is almost good. There's still some here, but it's definitely better than it was. The only thing is they've been sitting here for like 5 days. It does work. These really need to be a lot brighter. Alright, moment of truth. Well, we'll see. And now I'm going to be using some Onyx Fast. And this is actually supposed to be one of the applications for this stuff. So I'm pretty sure this stuff will be okay. I'm just worried about the silicone and how much detail I got. So there's what the needle looks like. Well. So which one is the copy? Well, the original had some clay on the back. So that would be this one. What's going to happen? Okay, this thing's a little tricky to put together. What you have to first do is get this rubber band on this motor shaft and then get the motor into place and hold it there. Get this around the pulley, slides there, all the same screws, and then this goes right here. This little piece fits in like that. This goes here, that, and then here it is, the moment of truth. Positive, negative. Interesting. Okay, well, let's back this off. No way! Holy crap, that actually worked. Here's the original. That's crazy. Well, that totally blew my expectations out of the water. I thought for sure you would kind of be able to hear it and it would sound mostly pretty good, but no way did I think it would be able to do that. It sounds, I mean, this never sounded great, so it sounds just as good as that does. So what that means is I need to figure out how to reproduce the other parts, like the diaphragm and the needle. So if anybody has one of those little bag of laughs, let me borrow your record. So the mission continues. Well, anyway, I want to thank these people right here. These are the patrons, and if you want to become a patron, follow the Patreon link. There's some really cool perks. If you like the video, hit the like, please, blah, 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 all that stuff. Another daily video this week. Down.
Randy Robot Garage.